Hello guys. The year 2020 was a very difficult year for me. My grandmother, for one, she passed. My mother, she moved back home to Knoxville, and yeah, I felt kind of lonely. Yeah, I had my husband, but we were going through a rough patch in the relationship, just to say, and yeah. Dealing with my friend's suicide, my grandmother's death, the rocky relationship, and just COVID, the quarantine, and then later in the year, Chris's car wreck. It was a year that just could not get any worse. Although I thought financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I was lost. I was broken. But the thing is, I got through it. I kept pushing on. I didn't let anything stop me. So here we go. Okay guys, today is and buckle my fucking seatbelt. No, that fucking person. No. Okay guys, so today is June. I don't fucking know what today is. I think it's the 11th, the 12th, possibly the 13th. Who fucking knows? After quitting my job, I kind of don't really remember the fucking day, to be honest. And here we are. Year 2020, it started off with a bang, partying, going out, having, you know, good quality time with friends, family. It was a great start, but the thing is, it didn't last long. My mother, she moved back to be with a mother figure. Her name is Diane. Honestly, she's like a grandmother to me. And, well, unfortunately, last year she passed away. But she moved up there. She was with her. And that was something that was just... I mean, it was great, and it was a good thing, but I just wanted to spend time with my mother. And then, let's see what else happened. February of 2020 is whenever, well, here in Gallatin, Tennessee, COVID, the quarantine, everything got pretty serious, and, well, it was isolation. It was seclusion from the outside world. Everyone was scared to talk to each other, to see each other, to be around each other, and it was hard. It was depressing. It was, honestly, it was shit. It was shit. Like, everything was shitty. Everything was shitty. I was so depressed that I'm surprised that it ended my shit back in the quarantine days. As much as I say I hate people, I didn't realize how much I really truly value being around other people and, you know, having that face-to-face communication. May of 2020, I found out that my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer, and, well, she passed. The situation with that was, it was shittier than the COVID. My grandmother, she passed away that same year. It was very hard. It was very traumatizing how it all went down. Everything played out in such a weird, fucked up, confusing ass manner, and I don't really know how to explain it. The thing is, each one of us has their own story of how it went down, and it was fucking crazy from all of us, each and every story. Like, going to get some type of, I don't know, some x-ray for my lungs, because I have trouble breathing sometimes, and I was there, and I'm getting a phone call from my mother, and she's just calling me up, and I'm like, Mom, I'm trying to get some x-rays done. She's like, call me, it's about your grandmother. So I tried calling her, no answer first time, I call her again, and she lets me know that my grandmother is dying. So she gave me a call once before, but this time it was serious. It was less than 24 or 48 hours. I can't remember the exact number. And well, I, like a dumbass, chose work. I went to work, even though I did end up getting to leave, thank goodness. Yeah, I decided to go to work and cry like a bitch in the office to my boss, which is, at the time, was my cousin Wendy. I was crying, finally got some type of response as if someone could cover my shift, I could go, yada yada yada, and this whole situation, I'm pretty much by myself. I drive up there by myself. I end up meeting my mother there. I'm hungry. I didn't get to eat, just woke up, went to work, drove straight there, which was a 3.5-hour drive. I get there and it's just such an eerie, weird type vibe. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like my family, they were sad, I guess, but they seemed so nonchalant about what was really happening. And it bothered the fuck out of me, honestly, and it was devastating. So I go there, we go through a drive-thru since everything was fucking closed. My grandmother, she used to live in like bumfuck Egypt, and like there's nothing there. So we did drive like 30, 40 miles somewhere to actually find something to eat. And we went through a drive-thru, we came back, and for some reason my uncle's going off about yada yada yada, she's dying, you guys decided to leave. You know, we've already visited with her, and she was already mute by then. She couldn't do anything. She had to write down her responses on a little board. She couldn't talk. She was barely moving. She was barely eating, and like she wasn't there with us. And yeah, she was conscious for a little bit of the time, but not for the most of it. So he goes off, has a little spat, whatever. We go inside and we visit with her since, you know, it's a sin to eat or something. We go inside and, you know, have some time with her, and well, the way out, there's a little situation. My sister and my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew still haven't arrived yet at this point. We go outside, and lo and behold, the great, amazing grandfather of mine is shouting at my mom, saying he didn't do something, really confusing, right? Saying he was going to get, you know, my aunts to whip her ass. I'm still confused at this point. So he just like turns, whatever the situation may be, which I'm not going to go into detail on that, but whenever you are saying, oh, it wasn't me, oh, it wasn't me, oh, I'm not guilty, oh, whenever you're shouting to the world, knowing that one, this isn't about you, two, still isn't about you, three, you're making yourself look like a dumbass, shouting out that you're not guilty, which obviously, for me, I'm going to presume you're guilty of something. So, there was an altercation, or pretty much grandfather ran my mother off and said that she wasn't allowed to be there, yada yada yada, and just made it about himself, which my mother confronted him and my uncle of some serious deep and long time family issues, to say the least. and neither could deny, neither could say anything to actually say that she was a liar. And it just came to show, and it proved to me that everything that I assumed and everything that I've heard over the years and everything that I did calculate about this family was true. Everything was true. Not that I didn't believe anything that was said, but I'd like to get every side of the story, every side of the story, all my facts, all the information, all of that. I have to have that before I can come to any type of conclusion. I do not have any bias towards this person, that person. But whenever that situation went down, it proved to me everything that I wanted to fucking know for years. So my mother gets sent off. I'm fucking having some anxiety attacks, and my husband's not there with me. I guess he's at work, or who knows where the fuck he was. My mom got fucking banned off the mountain, and then I'm still waiting for my sister. She didn't get there until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, it was very odd. Very odd. From the time I got there to the time I left, the whole situation was so fucking disturbing, so fucking uncomfortable, that I never ever want to be in a situation like that ever again. It did a lot to my mind. It fucked with me, and it fucked with me a lot. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It just really fucked with me. It was just such an awkward and disturbing, uncomfortable situation, and I never want to be in that situation again. I never want to be in that house again. I never want to be anywhere near some of the people that were involved in this situation. The whole thing was so disturbing to me. I have no actual opinion on what the fuck happened. I was lost. I was confused. I mean, I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's no... And my phone wasn't working at all. One thing, I mean, barely, maybe a message here or there, but bumfucked Egypt, imagine that. So there's literally no fucking phone service. I don't know when my sister getting there, and it was just such an awkward ass time for me. No one, I mean, after my mom got sent off or whatever, yeah, it was just fucking bullshit from there. Finally my sister and brother-in-law, niece and nephew finally got there, and we're sitting there talking to grandma, trying to have a conversation with her. I mean, all she could do was write on her board, and that was pretty much it. But we were sitting there, touching her, telling her that we loved her, that we loved her, and yeah, we were just in shock to see her in this state, and it was just crazy, and it was mind-blowing. And yeah, so we left the house a couple times to go get them something to eat. The whole family, we bought them food, and they were okay with that. In the morning, we went to, I think, McDonald's, and we got sausage biscuits. We got 10, 11, 12 sausage biscuits. Of course they ate those, but here's the thing. Later that night, we went to go get some pizza, because my niece and nephew, if they see something they want it, they think they have to have it. And, well, at this time. So my sister, respectfully, instead of going in their freezer, in their in their house, in their home, taking, even though this is family, right? Instead of taking that fucking pizza and cooking it themselves, we said, oh, we'll be back. And of course, one of the uncles said, oh, okay, well, my nephew, he fell asleep. So he fell asleep in the kitchen chair, or he was playing video games or something like that. So he fell asleep. And he was the one that actually offered to watch Gavin, my nephew, when we went to the store to get this pizza for them. So we were trying to find some gas, because couldn't find any gas, because we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Courage the Cowardly Dog Show, starring Courage the Cowardly Dog, head ass, fucking nothing is there. Nothing. So we had to drive off into the city, which was possibly 40 miles. I can't remember to be exact. But yeah, so we went to the store, we got pizza, then we came back. We were looking for gas, couldn't find gas. Then we get back, and another situation. The grandfather goes off again, talking about, I'm not gonna raise your children. I'm not gonna raise your children. You need to watch your children. Bloody fucking blah. But one, he wasn't the one that volunteered, nor were he asked to watch anyone's children. So I don't know where he got that fucking bullshit from. But yeah, he was drunk. He came from the bar, and he just decided to go off. And well, after this situation, he somehow, I don't know how it escalated this quickly, and how it got to this point. Whenever it was just about my grandmother, it was about my grandmother. She was dying. She was dying. She needed some support, some comfort, some love, because she was dying. But instead, they made this whole fucking situation about them, and it was so fucking selfish and so fucking disgusting that it still to this day has me fucking traumatized. And it's fucking bullshit. But so back to this situation, they're fighting or arguing, bickering, I don't fucking know, really, to be honest. And my sister's like, he's like, well, you need to leave, to my sister, my niece and nephew, my brother-in-law. My sister with her fucking loud ass mouth, she's like, well, good, I was fucking leaving anyway. And then one of the uncles is like, you don't talk to my father like that, or some shit like that. And he tries to act like he's gonna do something. And I'm just, for the first time in my fucking life, I've always stood up for my family members, my sister, my mother. And in these two situations, it still makes me feel like a fucking bitch. I just froze. I was in shock, panic, anxiety. I don't know what the fuck it was, but the whole situation was so weird. I felt so alone. I felt so helpless that I couldn't say anything. I was just like, I just said, yeah. And like, it was embarrassing, but at the same time, I was so glad to see my sister and my mother both fucking stand up for themselves for once. And it was a great thing in its own unique, fucked up way. And well, my niece and nephew, my sister and my brother-in-law, they left, and I was yet again alone with these fuckers. So time goes on, nothing's really happening. I'm feeling more awkward, feeling more anxious. My sister and my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew, end up going to my mother's house, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do, don't know what to do. I don't have any phone signal, this or the other. Our phone actually died. And I had to find my way out this fucking mountain bullshit ass terrain. Then I went to the gas station, bought a phone charger, and then I headed that way. I mean, after my sister had left and, reunited with my mother and shit, it was terrifying. It was fucking excruciating, just fucking staying there, watching my fucking grandmother die, while everyone else made it about them. This sucks. And why the fuck didn't you go in there and see her? Why in the fuck aren't you holding her? Why aren't you fucking giving her a hug? Why aren't you kissing her? Why aren't you telling her that you love her, instead of making it about you selfish fucks? Not only that, the medicines, you guys think you're fucking doctors? Like, that shit, like, I'm surprised you guys didn't overdose and kill her. I mean, that could be a possibility. I mean, but here we are. So finally, I'm leaving. I'm like, after this whole situation goes down, maybe like an hour later, I'm just like, you know what? This is fucking bullshit. You guys, we're a family. We're supposed to stick together. I love each and every one of y'all. And if you guys want my number, but you guys can have it. You guys want to talk to me? Well, we can stay in communication. But the thing is, I will never go through another situation like this again. And it was fucked up the way you guys treated my mom and my sister. So I got everyone's number, sent a message, and I left. To this day, only like one or two, literally one person has contacted me out of the group after I've sent him multiple messages. But it's okay, because you know what? They really never bothered me. I mean, they really never were anything to me anyway. It's sad to say that way, but it's true. So as I leave and head back to where my mom's at and where she lives, and to reunite with my family, I finally get there, and as soon as I step out of the car, Justin, my brother-in-law, he's walking to the car to give me a phone charger or tell me that he found the phone charger. I get a call and I answer it. She's gone. And at that moment, I look at Justin and almost fall to my knees. I'm just like, she's gone. My grandma's gone. Yeah. That's how it went down. And how did you hear about your grandma being sick? Or
Well,
how did it go down?
how did that go down? It's been so long. COVID really messed me up. I mean, first I get a phone call from Chip or David Allen, I can't remember, one of the two, and they're like, your grandma's sick. Oh, mine, they forget to add the part where she's been in the hospital consecutively for 2 months prior to making this phone call. One of them called me and was like, hey, it's not good, blah blah blah, your grandma has cancer, she's dying, she's known about it for 2 years. And then my so-called grandfather, or whatever the fuck he is, he called me next, and he was like, oh, she's only known for 2 months. Okay, so why the fuck 2 months later are you gonna fucking call me and tell me my grandma has cancer? Isn't that something? Even fuck COVID. I mean, it was the beginning of COVID, but at the same time, isn't that something you fucking tell somebody? Oh, your grandma has 2 months to live, basically. But fuck them, I'm gonna call them last minute to where they can't be around her, I mean, she couldn't even talk, for fuck's sakes. When I called the hospital to talk to her, they're like, oh, she can't talk. Okay, so where was this in the phone call earlier? Or where is this when you were telling me, oh, she was losing her mind? How was she losing her mind? Oh, because she was sitting up at one night at the computer playing a game, but the screen was off. She might have just turned it off and fell asleep. Like, what are you guys doing to her that drives her that mentally fucking insane that she needs to fall asleep in the goddamn computer chair, first of all? And then I got another phone call. I can't even remember from who. It was another fucking story. So, yeah, that's basically how I heard about that. And then I called them back, and I totally didn't go to work the next day. Yeah, the next day. We had plans to drive there. The lady on the phone at the hospital basically told us, because of the COVID crap, that, well, if she dies today, she dies today. You can't come in, period. So the following weekend, we drove down there to see her. I believe she got moved or something to that extent. So we thought we were just going to try to go to the hospital, just go to Mom's for the weekend, try to see what we can do, because it's being 30 miles away is different from being 3 hours or like hundreds of miles away. So when you're close and in the area, you can try to go to the hospital and be like, hey, she's dying, you know, like, just see if there's someone above her you can talk to, or him. And we tried that also, and we got nowhere again. So we waste time to go down there just for them to tell us, like, sorry, that's your fault. I don't know what to tell you. She's dying. COVID's happening. Basically, just fuck off is how I took that. So we came home, and then I'm at work running for drive-through. Tommy's there. Jason's there. And I get a phone call from Mom, and I can't answer it. Tommy said, oh, if it's an emergency, she'll call back. Well, Mom didn't call back. I got a text message. It said, it's 911. Your grandma has, like, how many? 24 hours to live. So I have to finish the rest of my shift, crying my eyes out. My own father is working right beside me. He's running for front counter. I'm running for drive-thru. I told him the whole, you know, 911, it's an emergency. That means grandma's not doing good. And he said, this can wait till after work. I said, no, but she only has 24 hours. And he was like, oh, okay, but your shift's almost over. And I'm like, okay. Well, if I do shitty the last 30 minutes of my shift, I know 30 minutes is 30 minutes, doesn't change the fact that I still have to drive through at 3 hours away, but that 30 minutes I could have had spent with her instead of, like, that makes up for the time I'm arguing with fucking douchebag about fucking leaving. So I go home. I have talked to Trevor at this point, and we were all going to ride together, but it would have just been easier if we just went at 2 separate times, because Trevor got off, I think you got off later or earlier or right before I did.
I was supposed to go in and close, and
you got to leave directly from.
Yeah, I showed up instead of just heading there, and I showed up there, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and I was crying to Winnie in the office, and then she called Tommy, and then I left from there.
And at that time, I just ran and clocked out, honestly. And I have 2 kids, so I had to go home. I had to pack stuff for them to have for two or 3 days or whatever. And then I got to go get myself ready. And we got there about, I think it was 2 o'clock in the morning. My grandmother woke up when I got there. She gave me a hug. She stood up out of bed. She gave me a hug. Then she laid back down. And I walked off for a few minutes talking to Trevor or something to that extent, my uncle, somebody. And then I came back inside, and she was asking where I was, but she had just gave me a hug and said, I'm happy you're here, you know, like, it was a faint whisper. And she had her little writing board or whatever, but the last thing on her little board, it said, where's Haley? And she was like, where's Haley? And I'm like, Grandma, I just hugged you. You know, me and Gigi were just in here. You just stood up and gave me a hug. She sat down and fell asleep for like 10 minutes, and then she asked again, and I went in there and sat with her for a minute, and then she fell asleep. I don't know. It was just a fucked up experience, that's for sure. And she asked for something to eat. She wanted a bologna sandwich and a Diet Coke. She ate that, and she used the bathroom one time. I know that's TMI, but she used the bathroom one time, and then from 2:30 a.m. I would say until 10:30 in the morning, when the, what are they called?
The hospice nurse?
Yeah, she came out, and right before she got there, I told Trevor she has not gotten up, you know, like, she hasn't woke up in 7 to 9 hours, you know, whatever. I think her organs are shutting down because she hasn't even used the bathroom. She hasn't peed or anything for like that many hours. 30 minutes later, the hospice nurse comes, and I tell her what's going on. She hasn't, you know, used the bathroom. She hasn't woke up to drink anything. And she was like, well, you know, her organs are shutting down, and or Trevor. She looked at somebody and said it, and I already knew before all the, you know, extra happened. I was like, I just know. I got that feeling after 8 a.m. I was like, yep, this is it. There's no reversing this. But that doesn't include 3 different people giving her medication either, though. So one person was supposed to be doing it.
It was 2 or 3, but I know it was
Every 4 hours.
what, morphine and fentanyl.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be every 4 hours, and it seemed like every 2 hours they were in there. Well, one woman would go in there at, you know, and this is family, so-called family, right? This person would go in here at 4. You know, I haven't been there on the regular, so I don't know what time the medicine's blah, 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 or this, that, and the third until after the fact. After everything happened, it, like, kind of clicked. Her son would go in there and give her medicine, you know, until the hospice nurse said, when was this given? When was this given? The lady's like, okay, but this is supposed to be every 4 hours. Why is this every 2 hours? And before we realized it, the damage was already done. They got her so comfortable that she just slipped basically into a coma. And that's if they didn't finish her off that way. Those hours you guys spend outside, you know, like, oh, it sucks. This sucks. Okay, then why the fuck aren't you inside? Yeah, I left for 15 minutes, but majority of my time was inside. And I made sure my grandmother knew she was loved from me and my kids. Well, I can't answer for them, but from my family, I never like acted like I knew that she was dying, because that would have just like made things worse. Like my grandma just like put it out of sight, out of mind. You know how like I put her dying out of sight, out of mind. She put her cancer out of sight, out of mind. And I also think she knew the one summer I was there, the summer before. She said, I have an appointment. I gotta go at 2. So we went like super early in the morning. Me, Justin, the kids, Jade went, and we were there from like 7 a.m. till like 1:30. Then she had to like go. She was like, I think that's when she found out she had cancer. I think she might have found out that day it gotten worse, or the year before when we were there, the summer before, she could have found out then, you know, and just postponed it. That's why a year later I see her, she has an oxygen mask. She's aged 50 years in 1, you know, and like she wasn't herself. We had the family reunion and we asked to see her, and then she said, she was like, I gotta do this and this, and I was like, okay, we'll see next time. The next time I saw my grandmother, she was dying. Like, if you have an option to go see somebody, you can just up and go see them. Fucking do it. We said, oh, okay, we'll just see you next time. The next time I saw her, she was in the fucking deathbed. That's not how you want to remember somebody.
Last time that I saw her prior to that situation was 5 years before. How would you say this whole situation has affected you? Have you grown? How have you been?
At first, no. Just buried it away like it didn't happen, you know. Like, yeah, I had a grandma, but we're not going to talk about the death part, because it was so traumatic and everything happened so fucked off. I didn't want to think about it again, especially after seeing my grandmother laying there fucking dying, and there's nothing you can do. Watching that for hours straight, just her laying there, and I mean, she's basically lifeless. I mean, she's breathing, yeah. She can't open her eyes, she can't talk, she can't eat, she can't use the bathroom. I mean, I would never wish that on somebody, to watch somebody die like that. At first, I held all the anger in, you know, I hate this shit, blah, 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 I hate myself. This time I should have done this with her and I didn't. I stayed her full vacation, but I went home 2 days early. I wish I wouldn't have. But now, I think I could say I'm to the point where, like, I feel like I can talk about it without, like, mentally breaking down. Tears still come to my eyes, but at the same time, before you ask me about it, I'll just flip. I would be like, don't fucking talk about it, or shut up, I don't want to hear it, or whatever. But now I feel like I'm more at peace with myself, And with her, you know, she's in a better place because God could only imagine what they put her through the last few months that she was there. I feel like I flourished, I guess, from this situation because me and my grandma were very close. Like, so close. I can wake up and accept, okay, she's gone, but before I couldn't. Like, I would not listen or talk to anybody that wanted or even thought about mentioning, like, her death.
Was there anything you learned from the situation, from like how it started to the end, to the growing, learning who people are, discovering yourself?
If you have a chance to be there for somebody, fucking be there. Let them know your spot in their fucking life. My grandma, like, I tried to talk to her all the time, you know, but her phone number was never, like, persistent. Sometimes she had internet, sometimes she didn't. You know, I would hit her on Facebook or text her, I mean, regardless if she got it or not. And it felt like after I got older, it was only sometimes you're my grandma and sometimes I'm your granddaughter and sometimes I'm not. The last message she did send me was, Haley, we're getting old. And I just brushed it off.
The whole situation for me, just as my input, like 2020 as a whole, the whole COVID, the quarantine, the whole situation itself, how she died, when she died, it put into perspective our mortality. Our time is limited on this earth. I mean, not take it for granted and be there for the people who you truly love, who truly value you, instead of a job that I've been wasting years. One day I'm gonna go, everyone's gonna go, and
McDonald's isn't going to be there like we were
exactly.
for them for majority of our life. 13 years is a long time to fucking waste at a job that don't give two fucks about you. In your case, because you were sick. Oh, I'm sick. They know I'm sick. I've been sick for like 2 weeks. Anybody else there? Oh, they no call, no show. They come in 5 hours late. Nobody gets a write-up. But let it be Tommy's kids, and guess what? Write-up it is. Even with the doctor's note.
Yeah, just know your self-worth. Know your time is limited. Spend time with the people that you truly love. Appreciate people. Value yourself. Value others, and let them know that they're appreciated. And that's pretty much it for me. So, any last comments?
No.
Statements, closing statements?
No.
Well, thank you, Haley, for being on here. I love you so much.
I love you too.
Bye.
Got so much weight on my shoulders, enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over, so pretty it hurts. Just beware of the thorn.